Welcome, everybody. Thank you for taking your time. Come and receive some light. I want to start as we always do and as in everything we do, which is to organically allow the creation of the circle of the heart. Right? Simple technology, but it's organic technology because hearts seek hearts. It's one of the simplest but most mysterious and, for most people, hidden things about being a human being. Hearts seek hearts. So when I say to you, breathe in your heart, close your eyes. When I say to you, ground yourself, which means feel your feet, connect as you know how to do, as at this moment, with the earth. Breathe into your body. This work is about being embodied to then expand inward and what seems to be outward as well. So breathe in your heart and then pay attention. Because what happens, because we are all together here, even though we are in many different places and many different situations, our hearts connect with each other automatically through our intention. And as I said, hearts seek hearts. There you go. A big part of the training we do, of which this is a small part, is to help each other become more aware of what I call vibrational nuance. Right? Everything is vibration, from the smallest to the biggest, to the cosmic to the personal. And vibration varies in form, in frequency, and in what it provokes. Vibration has texture and quality. Like that. There you go. So just be aware as we connect step by step, by our awareness, by our breath, by our intention, in whatever your way of perceiving is. Feel how we are forming what we call the circle of compassion, the circle of hearts. Like that. We're not inventing anything. We're simply unveiling by going underneath our concepts, underneath our thoughts, into feeling that vibrational nuance. Like that. And of course, for most of us, it's way easier to do it with other people. We need support. And we're made this way, right? In my spiritual path, the teachings come from songs. We call them hymns. And there's one of my favorites that said, it's me, it's you. God made us this way, so I could pray for you and you could pray for me. Meaning, we have been seemingly divided into individual pods, individual packets, when the underlying reality is we emanate from the same vibration and we are returning to that same vibration. And so we live in a dichotomy, in a seeming paradox. And the answer to a paradox is to find the place of unity. Where do the seemingly opposing ideas or seemingly opposing states of being meet? And where they meet organically, because we're designed this way, is in the heart. Seems so simple, huh? Too simple for our concepts and our ideologies and our opinions to believe in. This that we are doing right now is the basis of healing. And it is the basis of becoming the receptors and the transmitters of light. And for most of us, it takes work, it takes practice. Right? Most humans who make it to 2 years old, still maintaining heart-centeredness, are doing pretty well. We start to become civilized, right? And our cultures are not heart-centered. Culture I live in is not heart-centered. There are some, few. Not this one. There we go. So I'm going to ask you to maintain this as much as you can. I want to tell you something tonight. And I'll tell you the reason, the introduction to this is, for me, my prayer has been for decades to live through my heart. Live through my heart. Which means living my life through my heart. Many of us have become adept at what we're doing right now. In your meditation, in your privacy, in your, right, so to speak, in your cave by yourself, or in your walking meditations in the forest, and like that. And that is an achievement, and it's important. I sit every day and I meditate and I connect with my heart, and it sets me up for my day. Gives me a reference. And for me, the point of this is for me to live my life through my heart, because we live through, right? I live through my chakras. I, the inhabitant of this body, this vehicle, live through into the world through the various centers, right? This is what we teach. So I want to live through my heart, and I want to live my life infused by light. If this work truly has merit, I'm talking about my point of view, any work that, any spiritual work, healing work that truly has merit is translatable, usable in our day-to-day. I lived my life when I was younger, splitting right between my lower self and my higher self, between my work self and my spiritual self. And one day I was in a meditation, and I was in a daimyo work, actually, and I had been doing what many of us have done. I was assigning percentages of my energy to various things. Okay, this percentage went to my family. This percentage went to my work. This percentage went to my healing work. But then it went to me, which was a little bit. Right? And and it was difficult. I was juggling. I felt myself like this, like the guys that have the plates, and then they put another plate on, and I was like this. And I suddenly had the understanding that the split was in me. I was split. Therefore, I was manifesting my life in a split. and having to, from my ego and my mind, figure all this stuff out, and it wasn't working because fundamentally we are not split. So it became my prayer. Help me, I don't want to not be split. And I went through serious healing and serious adjustment to get to that point of integration. So I want to be able to apply this practically. So I'm going to tell you about my recent application of this practically. And you're a little bit of a captive audience. And there are some people here have heard this. I see people who are in the class. You know, I'm so sorry. You're just going to have to endure this for another couple minutes. So the end of April, the 18th of April, my wife, my children, and our crew, our healing crew, went to Brazil. And we took a group of people to Brazil to a mountain retreat center called Morgan Lake to do a very intense 2.5-week Daime intensive that involved 10 Daime rituals in a 2.5-week period, and work in between, and many things. Something we do every year. We didn't do it in the pandemic. It was the first time back in many years. So it's very intense work. It's very beautiful work. It's work that we love. And a third of the way through, I had a heart attack. And from a clinical point of view, I was really close to death. What's the point of this? I'm not telling you this. I mean, I'm glad to be here. I'm grateful every minute, every breath I take. I'm like, wow, what an amazing thing to be able to breathe and feel this vibration of life in me, right? It's springtime. I look outside and I'm like, look at that leaf. Oh my God, that flower. You see these flowers behind me. They come from our garden. It's from Jane's garden. You see? So, okay. All of that is true. But what was the application of light? Here's what happened. I want to introduce you to how I see healing and how light saved me. My connection with light saved me. Although it needs to be said, it wasn't my time. If it was my time, it doesn't matter how much light you have, except that the light, then you go quicker and you go further and you go into light instead of being caught in your lower self. So it wasn't my time, but it was almost my time. It was close. It was nip and tuck for a couple of days. Last January, I was in a Daime ritual, and I was caught in my own opinions and my own irritation. I was looking at the people in my community, and I was like, we work so hard, and people just are not advancing like they could, and blah, blah. And I suddenly I was like, I was done with my own irritation. And I made a prayer. I said, look, I need a different way of doing this work, because I'm putting out effort that is not useful. And I had an experience like this work teaches of vibrational, intimate, embodied teaching of a new way to do healing work. What was required to do that work would be that my heart got more open. I said, okay, absolutely. Because this new way I was shown was less effort for me and more effective and more elegant, all of which I like. That was January. March, I was going through a very difficult moment in my own process. Things were coming up with me. It was precipitated by an insomniac pattern that originated in my life when I was 12 years old. My family, my wife and my children, did a ritual for me, first time in 30 years, in which I saw clearly how I have in part arranged my life through my own trauma, through the filter of my trauma. Not fundamentally, but partially. The center of that trauma was, I have to take care of everybody, and I have to take care of everybody perfectly before I can receive from me, which of course is a total setup, since perfection is an abstraction, and it's the carrot. It's the carrot in front of the horse, right? Perfection is the carrot in front of the horse. The horse can't quite ever get it, and so it keeps running. That was me. So I made a clear prayer. I don't want this anymore. I want to heal that childhood trauma loop, what I call the binding thought. Yes, yes, yes. Right? That was March. April, we go to this workshop. Right? Meanwhile, back up a little bit, I'm practicing this work. I do this. I'm not just teaching you. I do this in my life as much as I can. And like you, I forget. And I come back and I learn forgiveness. I forget. I go here. I go to my third chakra. Okay. I forget. But then I remember. And I practice the 3 groundings. And I practice opening my heart. And I practice speaking my truth. And I practice forgiveness as much as I can, forgiving myself when I fall short, which means when I forget. Right. Meanwhile, and I call light every day. When my meditation, I do this for me as well as for you. I do healing work that requires light. You see what I'm saying? I'm committed to this work. And that doesn't make me a fancy person. That's just like, I believe in walking the talk, and what I'm going to tell you something and then do something different. But sometimes I do something different. So we get to Brazil, first day of the first ritual, 1 hour into it. What my wife says is, spirit plays duck, duck, goose. You know, duck, duck, goose. You're in the circle when you're a kid, and you're sitting there and they go duck, 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 goose. And the goose has to get up and run around, right? So one hour into the first ritual, I was the goose. And I did something I haven't done in 20 years in a ceremony. I went and lay down, and I saw the origin of this pattern in me that I was describing. I saw the origin of it. It had to do with the time that my parents died. And I created a whole scenario in my life where I felt like I was psychically taking care of everybody in my family. I wasn't, but in my own mind, I was. And I saw for the first time in 61 years that underneath that very anxious pattern, there was love. Duh, right? But it's the end, it is the end result of many therapeutic processes to realize, oh, wait, my actual motivation was love. So I can stop criticizing myself. I did the best I could. Oh, my heart. Wow. Amazing. I felt very beautiful. That was the first day. Fifth day, in the morning, I received some news from the United States, which I then chose to interpret in a way that allowed me to get angry. And I have a dear friend, I don't know if she's on this call, one of the people in our circle, who said, the Buddhist would have said you had 84,000 other options than to get angry. I didn't choose any of the 84,000. I know I had at least 5, right? I could have done what we're doing here. I could go to my heart. I could have opened forgiveness. I could have been in the space of like, wow, I don't know, right? I could have been detached. I could have many different things. I chose to get angry. And then what happened was, in that moment, because we were in a very rarefied spiritual space, and we had been invoking many, many spiritual helpers, an entity, a non-physical inner plane being, used the opening of my falling into my third chakra and indulging my anger to create in me a river of rage. I had never been that angry in my life. My wife and I have been together 53 years. She's never seen me like this. At the same time, I was aware. I wasn't subsumed, but I was like, wow, dang, what the heck? So my son says to me, we got to walk through the forest, Dad, and we're going to go to a swimming pool. There's a natural swimming pool. You got to chill. You got to get this out of you. So I'm walking through the forest and I'm stopping and I'm screaming, right? I'm doing everything I know how to do, screaming to get out of me. And halfway to the swimming pool, I said, oops, I don't feel good. This is not good. What's going on here in my body is not good. So at that moment, I was having a heart attack. I had 3 incidences during that day. After the first one, it backed off, and I went and I led the ceremony during the day. By 8 o'clock that night, I was having the 3rd incident, and we decided to go to a hospital, which is another story. It was an 1.5-hour drive. Oh, the first half over horrendous roads to get to a hospital, which happened to have an expertise in doing heart catheterizations, of which I had 2 over the next 3 days. In every way except that one way, this hospital was about 50 years behind the times. In this one way, it is world-class and contemporary. Okay, I'm going to back up a moment. That's in that first incident, and that morning before the night when we went, I was laying on my bed. Jane was there, my son Aaron, our friend Mona, who is a world-class doctor and a healer and an amazing person. And I'm lying there and I'm thinking, wow, okay, I don't know what this is, but this is not good. But I know that here's what I know. Whatever needed to be done, whatever was going to end up being done medically, to the extent that the other layers of energy were cleared, it would leave it clear for whatever physical intervention could be done to just be a physical intervention. In other words, we carry emotional, mental, spiritual, karmic weight in our vehicle. I was carrying it here. Weight from my childhood, weight from my misinterpretations, weight from my anger. So I felt like, okay, I don't know what this is, but whatever this is, I'm going to let it go. And so I let myself go, and I was sobbing, crying out all the pain that I could access and allowed to be accessed, covering my heart. Okay. So the combination, this is the point I want to make to you all. And I appreciate your indulging me in this. The point I want to make here is the combination of the work I had done, the prayers I had made, the prayers of everybody else. There were people praying for me all over the world, because the Dimetelegraph, Jonathan had a heart attack, people all over the world praying, calling light, right? Affirming faith. My family continuing to guide the workshop while holding this space of healing, the possibility of healing, the possibility of renewal. All of that combined to be that when I got to that hospital, that's a very strange hospital, and entered into this intervention, which was very intense, an hour and a half. These things usually take 20 minutes to half an hour, an hour and a half of basically this guy cutting and pasting my heart together, the artery of my heart, main artery, the second most important artery in the heart. All of that combined to create a space of light. So when I was lying on the table, breathing, feeling like, wow, I can't move an inch here for an hour and a half, right? my whole body vibrating. I was doing everything that I teach in my courses and that I've learned in my life. I was centering. I was breathing in my heart. I was grounding myself. I was doing the 3 groundings in me. I was connecting to the space of compassion and faith. I was calling my guides to guide his hands. And I was completely surrounded by the vibration of the Christ light, the golden white light of Christ, the entire time that I was on that table. Okay. So the point is, what is the point? I'm returning to the beginning of the story. The application in our lives, the practice that we do day to day, besides making our lives much, much more interesting and pleasant and connecting us to work that matches us and that does good in the world, right? And that we are contributing to the circle of compassion of hearts in the world. All of that. Meanwhile, when our personal shit hits the fan, like mine did, we have what my teacher Jose used to say, we have a spiritual bank account that we can draw on, a light account through that instinctive connection that we have forged over the times. And sometimes it's a little boring, and sometimes, like, I don't know, I'm just sitting here, I don't know if I'm connecting with light or not. Oh, there it is. Wow. Right? Well, what's the use of this? Okay, it's really nice. I'm telling you, okay, to return to the beginning, yeah, it wasn't my moment. And I'm super grateful for that. Right? But to get to the place that I am now, with really no damage to my heart, no lasting damage to my heart, and to be able to be held through that, to not have taken off, was just because somebody said not your moment. It could have been. So the combination, the preparation for that, right? And if it had been my moment, I was totally lucid, I was totally clear, I was in light, I was a little freaked out. My body was freaked out, right? Your body doesn't want to die. My body was not ready to die. I wasn't like, oh goody, I'm dying. I was like, no, I'd just soon stay. Can I stay, please? I want to stay. But I was aware and I was present because of this work that we're doing here tonight. So I'm just emphasizing to you all, and there are people here who are studying with us, there are people here who are doing your own work. It's worth it, and it's necessary, not just for the what do you call it, the altruism of it, not even for how good our lives get, which they do, but as the highest form of preventive medicine, right? So all those prayers that I made to open my heart, the original one, which was 1994, and then the prayer I made in January to find a new way to work, which is happening, right? The prayer to heal my childhood stuff, right? All of those prayers and the prayers along the way, and the prayer to be of use, and the work that we've done, and the charity that we've done, right? And the people we've taken care of, and the creation of the Essential Light Institute, right? And the Daime Church, and all this stuff that we have done in service of light, right? My interpretation was, it was returned to me, and it's not a quid pro quo, it's not transactional, but it's a relationship that I have had that now is even more so that those prayers are being answered. And look, here's the thing. Being in a body is weird. Being a human being has some really strange elements to it. But it's the law. The law is every step we take, every inner initiatory step that a human being take is marked with some illness. That's the law. And we heal and we transform through all our layers. So there was a karmic layer. There was a huge mental layer that I had to go through, that I have gone through. And in those days, to calm my mind, right? There was a huge emotional thing that I described, and there was more. And since I've been back, I'm very emotional. I feel things a lot. I cry at voicemails sometimes. And there was the etheric. So I'm going to tell you one more thing that happened, right? Because it's a weird thing. So here's this thing happened in the morning. Maybe I should have gone to the hospital then, but what happened during the healing work was, so some of you know this, one of the ways that we work is through what's called mediumship, right? Some people have studied with us and some will. So that means that there are presences that arrive in the healing ceremonies or in the healing work that inhabit us, bodies, we call it the aparelho, inhabit our vehicle, join us temporarily to use the agency of our body to radiate and do healings that the person couldn't do on their own. All right, that's what we're doing here. We're going to, in like a minute here, we're going to call this light, right? And what happens is the entities, the beings who are the step downness from the divine source, they come and radiate. Sometimes they come through us. It's happened on these calls. My guide comes and he says things sometimes. So in this particular ritual, that was the day of the heart attack before I went to the hospital, an entity came through, particularly came through each of the people in my family, but particularly came through my daughter on that day and cleaned me in a way that I was shocked at how much I was carrying. Because I had been working for months and months and months and years, and I was tired, and I admit I was not taking care of myself at all like I should, like I am now. I was amazed and shocked and a little bit overwhelmed by literally how much I was carrying in my emotional body and in my etheric body. It was an amazing experience to have all of that lifted off me and then later go to the hospital. So, returning to the theme, that also made it possible so that the doctors could just do what doctors do, right? To the miracle of being able to stick a tube up my artery and go into my heart and right here do stuff that made the blood flow. That's a miracle. That's amazing. And we should not throw that baby out with the bathwater. It has its place, but its place is not spiritual, emotional, mental, etheric. Its place is physical. So when I got to those guys, that's all they had to do. They didn't have to go through the weight of all that energy I was carrying, or all that emotion I was carrying, or all that mental confusion I was carrying. I could be there lying on that table and be like, okay, y'all, let's go. Let's go. And all the prayers of all the people around the world that were praying for me would come and hold me in that Christ light. That's what I want to share with you. Thank you for listening. Okay, I'm going to tell you one more thing. A little different subject, just because then I want to do the what you really came for. You had to go through this other stuff to get to the good stuff. So starting next Tuesday, right? I'm doing an online class. It's called Know Yourself, Heal Yourself, in which we will be studying over 10 sessions online over a 4-month period. This in depth, how to do this stuff. Okay. So the class is full, but today we've opened it up. We're willing to take 4 more people because it's going to be awesome. So I'm hoping that some of you may feel inspired and to check it out. Go to essentiallight.org. See if you want to come and spend time. It's a small group, maximum 24 people. And the format is going to be the first hour, we're going to study together. We're going to study through my book, The Gift of the Body. And the second hour, individual people are going to present themselves to receive a healing that everybody's going to hold the space for and everybody's going to benefit for. But during the course of the 10 sessions, everybody's going to have an individual healing as well, not only for them, but also as an example to everybody else, so that the participants can learn how I see energy and how I've been given to then intervene in it. And then you're going to pick up what you pick up to use in your own life. Okay? So I want to give you that pitch because we're going to enter into an altered state, and I don't want to take advantage of the altered state of light to pitch you. So I just pitched you. You got pitched. I hope you caught it in your heart. All right. So let's do this, huh? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Super being able to be with you all. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to recreate now the space of the heart. Just do it with a thought. Do it with a breath. Come back to your heart, and we're creating the circle of compassion. There you go. Right? The light's already here. So now we're going to enter into that. Be in the space of your prayer for your own connection with light. Find once again your yes. The light is offered. And as I said, it's not transactional. It's just being offered to you because you are a child of God. And you come from this light. So say yes, if you choose. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. So I'm going to say the prayer I say to bring this light more deeply, and then receive. Just breathe. The first stage is that you're going to have lifted off you energies that you no longer need, that you've picked up in your life, picked up in your work, picked up in your just being a sensitive human on earth. And the second stage is you're going to receive light coming in to infuse you, to love you, to comfort you. Amen. We call here on the guides of each of these beloved ones. We call on the guides of this work that we are sharing. We ask that all thoughts, patterns, entities, energies that no longer serve us be lifted from us in this light and be replaced with true, real light coming from the source which is radiating above us. And we ask that what we do here not only benefit us, but benefit all those who come to us and benefit all beings in the sacred path of unity, harmony, transformation, illumination, and liberation. Amen. Hmm. Hmm. Use your breath to breathe in your heart, but use your breath also to open your body front, back, and sideways. Make yourself an available vessel. Relax your shoulders. Concentrate for a moment on the back of your neck, the back of your head. Make a deep breath and bring it all the way up there. And open that tube, open that channel, so light can get in more evenly and more easily. Press your feet to the ground and take a breath. Come up your center. Activate your core. Arrive at your heart and rest. Allow the light now to lift off from you whatever you don't need, which is everything except your essence. So breathe in your heart, center yourself very deep in your heart, in a place underneath the underneath the underneath. We are asking here for all the extraneous energies, all that we have carried, all that we have gathered in the charity of helping the transformation from darkness to light. We are asking them to be lifted off and taken to a good place through the portal of light. Like that. Here we go. Hmm. 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 There we go. Breathe in your heart. Those who know what I'm saying, step into the space of compassion in front of your heart chakra, like that. And if you are one who is having something now really plucked from you that you don't need, that you have prayed to let go of, feel this current, feel this place of compassion, and just allow it. Like that. There you go. Hmm. Like that. Now see that your body, your vehicle, is a jar, and the neck of the jar goes up behind your head. And down that neck of that jar, down into your entire vehicle, light is pouring right now. Finding its way into every place that needs it. Places of constriction, places of holding, places of the hidden places where fear has been sequestered. Now feel the vibrational shift. A presence has arrived for all of us, regardless of where we are, regardless of who we are. Mhm. Light of Christ upon you. Light of Christ within you. Light of Christ to comfort you, to heal you, to guide you home to your own heart. May you be blessed as you are. Better to say, may you know you are blessed. What is a blessing? A blessing is something that is offered without expectation of return. It is the joy of the giver of the blessing to experience the reception of that blessing by the object of the blessing, in this case, you. Nothing is asked of you. It is requested that you receive the blessing in the same way that when a seed is planted, it is requested of the earth to receive it and allow it to bloom. The blessing is received. The blessing is stored away. to be taken out and examined, to be marveled at, to be felt, to be known, to feel the texture of the blessing. Blessing can be received over and over again. The blessing is not consumed, it is received. There is an art to receiving blessings, and there is a prayer that accompanies blessings, which is to be able to pass the blessing along. The art you are learning. Let go of the idea of healing being transactional. Healing is a celebration of all beings. Healing is exponential. Your healing is the healing of the one next to you, is the healing of your family, is the healing of all. Which is not a source of aggrandizement, but a source of celebration. Every time you receive light, you are joining in the universal reception of light. And every time you pass light through you, from you, you are exponentially joining in the expansion of light. Goodness rides on light. Kindness rides on light. Truth enhances light. Humility is the basis upon which light can rest. Light rewards you for its reception by its presence. It is its own reward. The choice you make is your contribution. How simple, how profound, how true in its vibrational reality. Now, if you have a question that can use this neutral, elevated space of light to become more clear, breathe in your heart. Center yourself there and offer your question into this light and to those who have brought it to you. In this space, you become more receptive to those which you call your guides, to that which you call your higher self, all of which really are aspects of your greater self. Now, as we say, may you be blessed here now as you go forth with the peace of Christ in your hearts. By this we mean that there is a universal underlying peace, a patience that no matter what cataclysms might occur or seem to occur, whatever transformations are necessary, whatever moments of shaking are necessary in order for the prayer to be answered, there is an underlying peace that wraps itself around you and wraps itself around all that you do and all that you consider and all that even that which you suffer. Cultivate this peace by what you're doing now, by the cultivation of your relationship with your own heart, and through that, with light. Mm. And now we say to you in this sacred space, the sacred vibrations, we say, Om, Amen, Aho, Oshala, Alaha. Pay attention to your breath. Appreciate your breath. Appreciate how it feels when you take a deep breath, what the vibration in your sacred vessel, your vehicle is. I would add then to feel your gratitude. Gratitude, as we know, lives in the mental body in the front of the throat chakra. Tune into that space, about 1.5 feet in front of your throat. Like there you go, see? Gratitude. Prosperity, true prosperity comes from gratitude and generosity, both of which emanate from that same place. Because gratitude and generosity make us available to receive our portion, which actually is infinite. So feel your gratitude. Gratitude for this space, gratitude for everyone who has held the space for you to go through, receive what you just received, or still receiving. Gratitude for all the ones holding the space in your life and giving you the opportunity to hold it for them. Gratitude to the guides, the ones you know, the ones you suspect, the ones you intuit, those consciousnesses that surround you, nudge you. Gratitude for the incredible gift of being alive to learn all of this with all of its vagaries and all of its difficulties and all of its strangenesses and all of its opportunities. gratitude. And you have my gratitude, profound, for the opportunity to bring this. I thank you for helping me heal. I thank you profoundly for listening to my story. I hope you got something from it. I certainly helped me. We'll see each other. We're going to do this every month. We have to skip a couple because of this and that. But it's very clear that this is something that needs to be maintained, Space of light for whoever wants to come. Amen. As they say, Amen, Aho, Om, Oshala, Allah. It's all the same sound, right? It's all the same sound. The sacred, as the Vedic say, the first sound that emanated from the heart of the Creator, that burst the Creator's heart and created matter. That's the Vedic legend. One second, 1 millisecond, seconds didn't exist yet. Before the Big Bang, the Divine One exploded its heart in charity to create us. Imagine that. I can't imagine it, but maybe you can imagine it. I can only say, wow. You have my love, you have my respect. I know I have yours. Thank you. See you around the bend.